It's not every day you start the adventure of a lifetime. What's going on? How is everybody doing? I am sorry I missed last week. It was my wife's birthday, and you all know where you stand now. She takes priority on her birthday. She made that very clear. So we are back. I was gonna do the stream during the weekend, and I just didn't. I got nothing. So I'm here today. And we're going to go through episode 12 and 13. I do have a special treat or request if you guys are willing to help me out. Some of y'all may know that I'm part of a conservation ranching program, and I've been asked to do a little bit of research on behalf of the company I work for. So I'm going to do a really quick little live stream after the river trips here, and if you guys want to help out or be part of that, I'm going to throw my email in there. You can email me, and then I'll give you details from there. It would just be a couple quick questions, and that'd be it. So aside from that, Mr. Dan Fost, welcome. Let's get into the trip. So episode 12 starts on day 27. Here we go. Good morning. Day 27 on the river. I am beat. I pulled into Cassville last night for a little cover from the storms that came in. They said I could stay, so I stayed under the pavilion. But that mat is just impossible to sleep on. That Thermarest mat I got. I fell laid on my back. I woke up with like my arms asleep. So yeah, aside from me complaining about that mat that I hated sleeping on,
back sore and just
it rained and rained and rained and rained. And when I woke up the next day, there was literally trees floating down the river, whole
terrible night.
logs and branches. The river was a mess, and it actually kind of cleared up later in the day. Everything kind of makes its way over to the banks, gets caught on different stuff. But yeah, it was a little concerning to walk over to the river that morning and see all the junk floating down the river. So it obviously rained pretty good.
How tired I already am. It's
hello.
10 o'clock, so I'm already getting a late start. I'm just exhausted. So there was promises of a shower at this last campground. So I gathered all my stuff and hauled the boat about a half mile on land down to the showers, and the showers are out of order. So that was about the most disappointing thing
that was an honest reaction.
Ever had happen. Because I was really looking forward to the shower. But rained and rained and rained. There is new flood warnings coming out. Water is really high again.
Waterborne camper, welcome.
Definitely up again, so that's about all I got for now. So we'll catch you later.
This would become one of the more surreal moments on the river. As I waited to enter Lock 11, there was a barge pulling out of the lock. I was informed by the lock operators that I was to maintain my position on the wall and that the barge was aware of my position and would be pushing right past me. Even though there was a deck. So this really was an interesting moment. This was the closest I had gotten to any of the barges. And you know they're big, but until you're right up next to those things, you don't realize just how big they are. And it was funny, I was actually on the phone with my mom and my aunt, who both did not really want me doing the river. And they're like, "What's that noise in the background? What are we hearing?" And I was just like, nothing. You know, I had these visions in my head, you know, of the sound of my kayak getting crunched against this wall like an egg. You know, be over with. They're big craft. It's really, really incredible to be up next to them. And thankfully, the pilot of this tow was super kind and respectful. I mean, he didn't kick it into gear until I started paddling away from him. So, big shout out to them guys. They were really great. They had a deckhand on the front of the barge, just keep an eye on me. But yeah, they're huge up close. What's up, cuz?
I'll get your line out here.
Sounds good.
Decent paddling today, huh?
Oh, you know, it's just this heat and humidity.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you stop, it just
gets you.
yeah. And I haven't had a break from it in a while.
I swear I could have jumped and got stuck in the air. It was so thick out there.
Because it got really cool.
Well, good luck to you.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome to come down here.
And most of the lock operators were super nice too. You could sit there and chat with them. They were just as excited to have someone new to talk to as I was. Yeah, you know, Waterborne, we're sitting here at like 1 degree today, so if you ain't got that cold yet, it's coming. So this is pretty cool. Actually, I didn't even know swing bridges were still in operation, so it's pretty neat to see one.
Morning. I think we are on day 27. I am 28. 28. I'm really starting to have a hard time keeping track. One of these days, it's going to be the last time I can remember. So. Stayed at the Massey Marina last night. Nice place, nice people. It's a bar. They had an incredible amount of water from the flooding there. They were telling me the stories about how high it was and everything. Just absolutely crazy that the water would have been that high.
These people were great. I mean, they
were telling me the stories.
They were drinking and cleaning up when I got there. It was already kind of a party, but yeah, you can see here on the mirror in the back, that's the water line, and it was just incredibly deep. How the river was just incredibly deep. It was so flooded. There's actually a little boat launch that's kind of you can get out there, walk around a campground. There is a campground here too, and on my way out the next morning, I went to use the restroom because this restroom, all the water was shut off. They got to what do they call that? They spike the well or whatever, where they'll shoot it with chlorine or something to kill all the bacteria and stuff that gets in there from the floodwaters. But yeah, there was like a little outhouse toilet on the boat launch, and I was gonna stop and use it on my way out, and pretty much there was mud up to the rim of the bowl. So when it floods, it really creates a mess. Great people, the owner of this place, they were gonna give me water, and like I said, everything was shut off, so the guy actually drove back to his house to fill up my water jugs for me. They're super kind people.
Been that high. But yeah, I mean, it's obvious there's mud and crap all the way up in there, so it's pretty insane. They're trying to get ready for the 4th, and they're usually pretty busy around that time, I guess, so they have a bunch of people over rocking away trying to get her cleaned up. So to you folks at the Massey Marina, thank you for your hospitality. They topped off my water and got to chat with them for a while, and they gave me a place to stay for the night. Camped outside by the river, so aside from that, we're gonna try to get to Savannah, Illinois today. I have a couple leads on a inn or a hotel, and if that doesn't work out, there's a marina with campsites, and that has showers and stuff, and I'm just dying for a shower more than anything, but we'll see how it goes. This humidity is still up. I woke up this morning at 6, checked the weather. Humidity was already at 90%, so it's just hot and muggy again. With any luck, one of these days I'll just get used to it and not care anymore, but
Yeah,
for now, it's a pain in the
green
butt.
screen up.
So,
My wife got it for me, or my wife and her family got it for me for Christmas. It's actually a collapsible one, so it's really nice. I had a fabric one, but it was hard to get the wrinkles out, so she bought me this one. It's pretty awesome.
now my bordering states are Illinois and Iowa, so that's kind of neat. That's another state in the past, so we're getting there. If the heat would break, I'd get there a little quicker, but doing what I can.
This was always kind of a neat thing. So a lot of the times, I don't know if this is how they always operate, but when there was southbound traffic, a lot of the tows would pull over to the side and they'd just wait. There was also a lot of dredging going on, so it was kind of neat to come across a few of them. Just basically, they just run right up on ground or right up on shore, and they just sit there almost at an idle, just holding position. But then their wake kind of kicks out a little bit. It's not terrible, but you definitely feel it. Always be careful because you never know if they're going to pull out on you. And that's a lot of metal moving in your
I don't
direction.
always have the capacity in the boat to pick up garbage along the way, but I'll take out some here and there.
Could spend a lifetime picking trash
you
out of the
approach a
river.
lock, you see this, you'll be waiting. There ain't nowhere to go. Well, sitting here at Locking Dam 12, got my bee suit on because there's a million moths flying around here, and I can only take so much of the light in my eyes.
I'd expect you to
face, so
say that.
yeah, just kind of adds to the heat buildup, but nonetheless, if you don't have a bug net for this trip, get a bug net. It's worth every cent and every ounce. How's she going today? Hot.
Fair enough, Gabriel. You got me beat, man. I think we're going to be getting down there tonight. Man, I got so hot. I actually had to pull over and cool off. I couldn't do it anymore. I was just dying in the heat.
Today is July 2nd, and I got a hotel room for the night. The humidity has been at or above 90% now for a few days, and it's just getting oppressively hot and need a break. So I found a place. They're letting me do some laundry while I'm here and everything, so I can finally get my clothes washed and, more importantly, dried. I've been able to wash.
Yeah, this is a alright little spot. I actually, the boat launch is a ways away from this spot. Geez, what was this place called? I don't remember. But it's like up 3 stories, 3 flights of stairs. They have a nice little porch area that's actually blocked off by a wood fence and locked. So I was able to actually walk my kayak down there, lock it into a somewhat secured area. And then it was also protected under a deck from all the storms that ended up coming in that night. So it's kind of a nice spot. There was stores around. There's actually a marina further down. And then Sebula, Iowa is actually pretty much right across the river from here. So that's kind of the location this is at. Yeah, the guy was great. They don't normally let you do laundry here, but he let me throw my my stuff in the washer and dryer, so I got everything cleaned. It was great.
So oppressively hot and muggy. So coming here was totally worth it. I'm very happy to be inside for a day, half a day even, and just chill out in the cooler weather. So aside from
yeah,
that,
Gabriel, I've had heat stroke
I'm gonna do a
before.
Facebook live
It's
stream
rough.
tonight, getting everything charged up. About an entire jar of pickles for myself and a coffee. So, it's been a good night, and I'm beat tired. Can't wait to get some sleep. But yeah, it's going to be a resupply, a recharge, and then a reintroduction back into the heat. So. Good morning, day 29 on the Mississippi River. I have just left Savannah, Illinois, Sebula, Iowa, right to my right, and John Denton, a fellow paddler, right on my tail. He's actually probably just a mile or not even so behind me, so I'm pretty sure he's going to catch me. He's been flying down the river pretty well. Stayed at the Ecology Inn last night. It was a nice little inn. Had my own room and my own bathroom. Took 2 showers while I was there in the span of 12 hours. I love doing that. Got a bunch of food for resupply. Got my water filled. Mailed some warm weather clothes home because even if I need them, just the principle of getting rid of the hot stuff right now is good enough because it's hot as hell. And so yeah, so we got that taken care of. Got everything charged. I slept pretty decent. I could easily have stayed in the AC and just been in it forever. Again, storms predicted for later in the afternoon. We'll see how it goes. It is what it is. It's always kind of sad leaving your hotel behind because you know it'll probably be at least a week before you get another one. But so it's July 3rd today, so the 4th is tomorrow. So my goal...
Yeah, the only reason I really liked the hotels was just to get out of the heat. I don't mind the hot weather, but I like to sleep cool. And when the temperature... When the overnight temperature is basically the same as the daytime high of mid-90s and high humidity, it's just hard to sleep in that sometimes.
Don't know that I have a heck of a lot, so it's just another day on the river. It did storm last night quite a bit, so it was nice to not be in the lightning and the weather.
That paddle is amazing. I actually retired that paddle at the last trip it did. The last paddle stroke it was at the Gulf of Mexico, and I actually have it tucked away, hanging on the wall or something, But I bought the exact same paddle replacement. I absolutely love the paddle. It's a Warner Shuna if you ever want to look it up. The paddles are amazing.
Holy smokes. I found some birds.
I knew from watching some other series that these bird islands existed. I had no clue where they came across them, and man, when I got to it, it was pretty evident.
Apparently the party is over here. Like, no kidding. There are thousands of birds here.
It's Pool 13. It's probably the highest concentration of bird crap on the entire river, if I had to guess. Yeah, I don't know. It was a cool spot. I probably spent, a half hour kind of circling these little sandbar islands. And hey, Mike, welcome. and just filming all the birds coming and going. What do they call black wingtip pelicans or something like that? White pelicans. They're really cool. The way they would fly, and a lot of times they'd like hover right on the water, then they'd pick up just a little bit. And if you watch them, it's almost like the lead bird starts flapping, and then they start flapping in sync or in line as you go down. It was just kind of a neat thing to watch them. I only recently started noticing those here in Minnesota, and it was cool to see so many of them. But yeah, neat birds, neat area. If you watch them, they'll start flapping in almost in order. It's just kind of cool to watch. Yes, Gabriel, my real name is Josh.
Well, we just got through Lock and Dam 13. Taking a little break here in the shade because once again the humidity is up and the heat is up and the sun is up and wide open skies. So there's like very little breeze, if any, and it's just a matter of sitting here and cooking in the sun all day. I was doing pretty good until I sat in the lock, and anytime you sit, it's like your core temperature just starts to rise because you're not getting a breeze, the sun's just on you, and yeah, it's just it's pretty awful. So yeah, so just taking a little break.
I don't really know if the Kevlar kayak holds that much heat, but it was like the thing just held on to heat. Once it heated up, I was hot the rest of the day. And you could almost feel the difference between the inside and the outside of the cockpit of the kayak. It was just that much of a difference how hot it was in there.
After passing through Lock 13 in the town of Clinton, Iowa, I make camp. What's up, everybody? I am currently sitting on an island with a sandy beach between the states of Illinois and Iowa. Between the towns of...
Yeah, I just blabble on here for a while, but it's pretty cool. I mean, this is obviously where they dredge or dump dredge sand or whatever from the main channel, and there's like tracks all over up there where they smooth it all out. Super nice little beach, and everything around it was underwater. Let's see here. I know I put the drone up at the end of this one. You can see huge area, of course. Everything's huge on the river, and this is all islands underwater. So of course, you know, you paddle through here. I'm looking at all these underwater islands and thinking, crap, I'm gonna be paddling the rest of the day trying to find somewhere to land, and came across that great little beach. So it worked out really well for me. But one of the kind of the neat things about being on the river is all you see is just this solid tree line most of the time. And it's crazy, no matter when I put the drone up, it was almost like that tree line was just pencil thin, and then beyond it was just fields, just flat farmland. And you had no idea that was like that until you put the drone up. Yeah, no kidding, that sure would have worked. Storm's off in the distance. So this is just kind of a cool shot because, I mean, it really shows just how big everything is. You know, the kayak, obviously. And you see just how big the river is. And, you know, really how small you are out there. And this is just a little speck of that area of the river. It really is incredible how big the river gets. And this is nothing yet. I mean, come on, what better place to camp, you know? It was just awesome. I wish I could have used the hammock. These trees, I think, had poison ivy vines running up and down them. I kind of see them there. I wasn't 100% sure if it was, but I had poison ivy a good chunk at the beginning of the trip. I didn't want it anymore. So, let's see. Let's do our maps. Day 27. So, doesn't look like much. That's 33 miles. Cassville down to the Massey Marina, I believe it is. Let's see. 3573. Massey down to Savannah, the Ecology Inn. And July 3rd, Savannah down to Cordova, I guess. That's the island I stopped at. So 33 miles. Isn't that crazy that there's that straight line almost is 33 miles? But yep, that's how it goes on the big old river.
Episode 13. In the last episode, we passed the 4th week on the river and once again made terrific progress passing through Dubuque, Iowa. Leaving Red Wing on week 3, Brainerd on week 2, and Grand Rapids on week 1, and also we have finished up the state of Wisconsin. Now in between Iowa and Illinois, the flooding is becoming more and more apparent, and the river is continuing to grow.
Yeah, Mike, early in the trip I had a single tent, two-person tent, and then I switched that tent out for my hammock and my one-person tent. So I had the option either way of either hanging or being on the ground. It worked out really well having both, actually.
Island camp spot. No one bothered me all night. I slept mediocre to okay, I guess. Woke up a few times and turned around. But yeah, leaving early today at 6:30. I've been up since 5. Just wanted to try to get ahead some of the traffic and storms and heat and everything. So gonna see how far we can get. As of now, weather's predicting storms around 1.
Oh, Gabriel, the hammock, 100%. I absolutely hated sleeping in the tent. I think it was the pad that I had was just awful to sleep on, just godly uncomfortable. The hammock, I used the sleeping pad in the hammock as well, and it was amazing. I slept so good in the hammock.
Muscatine or Muscatine or whatever it is. So that's the update. Nice quiet morning.
Cool, all the different houseboats you see out there.
Passing through LeClaire, I stopped to meet and say hi to Sharon, who had been following my progress down the river. She was excited to meet a paddler and wanted to say hello.
I guess she used to travel the river a lot when she was young, and so she was kind of reliving it all through my trip, and then of course when the videos came out, she absolutely loved them. Big old houses. Yeah, if you've never tried hammock sleeping, man, just don't do it when it's cold.
All right, a little talk and teach. Hopefully the sun isn't dominating the picture here. It might be. Lock 14. So I had people kind of telling me to hang right when I get to 14. Hang right when you get to 14. Take the back channel when you get to 14. And I had no idea what the hell that meant. And so...
Mike, not exactly. Daryl and Jonathan had only hammocks, and there was a couple of times where they basically had to throw their hammocks on the ground, and then they just covered up with their tarp. Some of the camp, it really depends where you stop. When you get on the lower river, and if it's not a flood year, yes, there's a ton of places to hang the hammock. But there was a few times where I didn't have a choice but to use the tent. So... if you're comfortable in a tent, go for the tent. If you love the hammock, you might end up sleeping on the ground, and depending on where you are during that night, if you're up north, you could get covered in ticks. If you're down south, who knows, anything could get you down there, I guess. So the answer is yes, most nights you'd be good.
Recreational lock, and I'm assuming it's just there to keep congestion out of the way for the commercial lock, which is connected to the actual dam like a normal locking dam. I was supposed to take that.
was on the phone with that guy from that lock for like 20 minutes talking about this lock, and finally telling him like, yeah, I'm just around the corner about a half hour, and he's like, oh, well, you can forget everything, just come through the main lock.
Call ahead, see if the recreational lock is open. If not, then I guess like me, they're gonna let me go through the commercial lock. So.
Yeah, so Daryl and Jonathan on the river, they didn't know there was a secondary lock, just like me. I never heard of it before I was on the trip.
Good morning, 14.
Had to paddle back up that and back around to go down that little side channel, go down
Send
the
a kayak
auxiliary
and
lock.
southbound, please.
When I got there, it was closed, so I had to go through the main lock.
Thank you, sir.
Leaving the commercial lock on 14, I was presented with very turbulent waters. This was the worst I would see throughout all the locks. It is due in big part to the currents from the dam. Waves come in, hit the wall, and flow back out, creating very erratic waves, pitching in all directions.
So I brought the GoPro 7 on this trip, and the GoPro 7 has image stabilization, and it really takes a lot of the sway out of this. These waves were huge. They don't look that big until you realize like the scale of the kayak, or you look over here on the wall and see how high those actually are. The splashes from them, but this was a really sketchy exit out of a lock. I've never seen it that bad. I know it can get way worse, but it wasn't even that windy of a day, and it was just super choppy, and the waves were super erratic. It wasn't like they were coming from one direction to the other. They were coming from all over the place.
Hell of an exit out of 14 there. Whew-wee. It threw me around like crazy. So be careful on that one if you come through the commercial lock. I don't know how normal that is, but that was something else.
It's pretty cool checking out these this arch they were building here. It didn't look that big, and then you get up next to it, and they're just massive. Things are so big out there, it's just crazy. Ah, crap, what am I doing? Ah, you get what you pay for.
Good morning, 15. How you read?
15 back.
Solo kayak heading south.
Roger, we'll take you down once this parking gets out of here.
Awesome. I'm holding a couple hundred feet from the wall on the shoreline.
I learned it's just nice to kind of tell the guys where you're at, because the towboats want to know when they leave. They can hear this conversation as well, and so I'd always just tell them, hey, I'm sitting here, I'm holding here, whatever. That way they just knew where to find you, and then they knew that you knew to stay out of the way. Have they finished that bridge yet? They've been working on that bridge forever.
White one Centennial, yes.
Okay.
Below that bridge, they got a dredge system
Jeez.
with barges and tubing to the Illinois side.
Okay, so I should try to.
So you'll have to go to the Iowa side to get around.
Okay.
Okay?
How high is water compared to normal right now?
Everybody always says there's no normal anymore.
A swing
Yeah.
bridge. It's pretty cool.
Are we
Say
still?
about this time, we're probably about 4 to 5 feet lower than we are.
Okay, that's quite a bit still.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's.
I love the dam and lock structures. I mean, they're awesome. I really want to try to get a tour of the inside of these things. I think it'd be neat.
It's just starting to go back up recently from the recent rains. So.
Yeah.
After passing the Army Corps of Engineers dredging operation, I make my way to some back channels on the Illinois side. Some bad weather starts to roll in, and I stop at a public boat launch to wait for the weather to pass, where I came across...
Alright, here's the deal with these people. So, you can see the dark clouds here. I'd seen these moving in for quite a while, and so I finally stopped at this really muddy little spot that had some picnic tables and stuff at it, and it was just full of mosquitoes, and it was awful. And so I was looking on my phone and saw there was a boat launch just around the next corner, so I I come down here, it's a double wide.
The only rude people I encountered the entire
And,
river trip, who were upset that
I
I
pulled
was
up.
even
You
on
can
the
see
public launch at all.
I'm not even really
Luckily,
on the
this
launch,
gentleman
and
had
these people
kindness
were
to
like
respect
panicking
from
that this
people
storm was coming in, and so they back up. They have, of course, they have to back up where I'm at. They couldn't go to the other side, and the dude was just being a total jerk. We'll just say that, and it was funny because they were all flustered. He was yelling at his wife. He was just being a dink, and she tried to pull the truck up, and the e-brake was on, so of course it was screaming at her, and it was just a mess. But just terrible people. They just only concerned about themselves. There's no other vehicles were really there. It's like, I don't know. You think for a second maybe this kayak is also seeking shelter from the weather, but some people, it's their world. I just live in it.
He told me about an upcoming campground.
Cold showers, but they were showers. One valuable piece of advice. I picked this spot at the campground when I called. I had to call and pay for this spot. And all this was either underwater or super wet, so I didn't want to stay on any of the islands. But and this isn't even the main river. This is a back channel here. But the sun was just beating on me the whole time I was at this campsite. I should have picked one by the trees. I wanted to stay here because it was right next to the boat launch and I could get out real easy. But yeah, I had just a little tree that I could hang the tarp from, but it was just miserably hot. And then it was really cool. There was actually a dude down the way who came over. He saw me paddle in and, of course, asked all the standard questions. And he actually ran me up to the store so I could refill my supply of granola bars, and I got a jug of water and stuff. So he was super cool. Just wanted to hear the trip and everything. So I was a little leery leaving the kayak unattended. I did lock it up, but you never know.
But the water's topped off. I found some more Clif bars, which makes me happy.
Jerks is a good word. I was trying not to swear on the stream, but yeah, they just, some people.
6:39 in the morning again. Good enough for the time yesterday. So yeah, on our way. Quiet morning. Same forecast today as it was yesterday. Hot.
This is like a refrigerator-sized piece of foam floating down the river. Dying to catch up to it to see it. It was huge.
But it is what it is. It's his life on the river in the wild. Good morning, 16. How do you read? Yep, solo kayak heading south, please.
Alright, how far out are you?
I'm at your 1,000-foot marker.
Alright, we'll get the gate swinging for you. Just give me a minute here.
No problem, thanks. All right, lock 16 done, over, in the books, and we are now heading through, or to, and then through the town of Muscatine, which is right there. And yep, on we go. It's like 20 miles to 18, 17. 20 more miles to 17. So you're no doubt wondering, Jay, what makes the town of Muscatine so awesome? And the answer to that is, I have no idea. But geographically, it's a really cool spot because the Ouellette River takes a left-hand turn here and heads back south for the first time in quite a while.
Looking on a map, you can see the river makes a pretty sizable deviation east before heading back west and finally south after Muscatine.
Rock on, Gabriel. I'll keep an eye out for it. Man, so I had this little radio with me, and I was all excited to have a radio because I had a little SD card in it, but you get sick of the same songs. And the only station I could get to come in was talk radio, and they had nothing to say that I had any interest in. But it was something to listen to.
Passing through Lock 17, I start to see more effects of the flooding, with more and more property in the water.
That thing was loud. I could hear it forever away, and had no idea what it was. I swear it was like there was a plane coming in, and had to stop there to reset my Strava map because it lost connection and was skipping parts of the river, but it was pretty cool to see it.
What's up, everybody? So I've landed for the night. I did, I don't know, a little over 41 miles, somewhere in there. 2 locking dams today, went through 17 and 18. No, 16 and 17. Had to wait at one of them for almost an hour and a half, which was quite a wait. There was barges in line, and so luckily they let me cut ahead of the barge that was coming from downriver, or from upriver. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, once I hit 40, I started looking for a camp spot. This is just an island. It's nice. It's a foot or more off the river, so
Camp spots that look like this or shorelines like this were awesome. I absolutely loved just hanging out on the bank like this and watching the barges come by. It's probably what I miss most about being on the river, was just finding those little nice little shorelines like that and then just watching the barges come by.
Boats out there, but the nice thing about this spot, aside from
Dan, I tried using that, but
beaten trail is the
Avenza
main
maps, but I could not get it to work for me,
I don't
and I was
expect
just
anybody will be over here to check me out.
too stubborn to keep working with it. I pretty much just use Strava to track my distance. I use my GPS as pretty much that was for my family to locate me. When I had trouble with connection, and I think Avenza's the one you can actually download maps on. But I actually, before I would leave, if I had service, I would actually just snap screenshots on Google Earth of the upcoming river, and then I had that as a reference if I needed it.
Dam 18, and
the reality is the Mississippi is generally the biggest flow. As long as you follow the biggest flow, everything drains into the river. So as long as you're not paddling upriver anywhere, you should be going in the right direction.
So yeah, try to get 40 plus every day from now on. Weather is kind of the monkey wrench in that plan every day, because I had to stop today for a little bit and check the weather just because there was storms ahead of me.
I did not see any sturgeon, but I did see a lot of gar, and that was the first time I'd ever seen gar in the river. That was really cool. I wish I would have been able to fish for them, because that would have been a blast. But yeah, no sturgeon, unfortunately.
Good morning. It is July 6th, day 32, I think. Yeah, rough night's sleep. I had a lot of mosquitoes at that campsite, and they were like actually feeding at me through the bottom of my hammock. And for about 2 hours, I kind of was in a sleep while I was fighting them off. And I finally woke up and my legs were covered in bites.
Yeah, I didn't put on no fake shows. I complained. You saw what was real on the river. If I had something to whine about, I whined about it.
12 at night and spray everything down with bug spray, and then lay in my sleeping bag as kind of like a taco, just so they couldn't get to me. And I mean, to sleep in a sleeping bag last night was horrible because it was so freaking hot. So yeah, it just rough night all around. I didn't eat much last night. Now I'm feeling it today, and I'm just pooped. I'm absolutely pooped, and it's already steaming up this morning, and I'm just beat. I'm exhausted.
One thing I learned, and it was actually I think this day that I learned it, is a good day and a bad day is all based on your sleep. If you sleep good, the trip is the best trip you've ever been on. If you sleep like crap, it's the worst trip you've ever been on. So, you know, when it comes to sleeping, I mean, if you need to make room for an extra pillow, an extra blanket, an extra pad, whatever it takes, bring the gear you need to sleep good, because that makes or breaks your trip.
Down a ton of calories because I could use them. So,
Cass Lake was awful. with
forecast
mosquitoes.
is pretty much the same.
I think Cass Lake is probably amongst the most mosquitoes I ever saw in any one place.
Blazing hot sun, so that's the update for now.
In preparation for another day of limited sleep, hot temps, and a long day of paddling ahead, my low energy was really
Man,
starting to get...
this little bird, he's the luckiest bird alive this day. I decided I wanted to cross the river. The next turn went to the left, and so I'm like, I'm going to cross the river and save the miles on the turn. And as I'm halfway across the river, I paddle right to the little guy. I mean, if that's not divine intervention on his part, I don't know what is. Yeah, I'll burn a separate net next time, for sure.
So we're paddling along, and this little guy flapping around in the river.
Burn the hand, right?
First, we stop and pick him up.
Cool experience.
So I'm paddling down the river, and this little guy's struggling in the water, and I grabbed him and threw him on board. He's obviously shivering. He must be out there for a while, so we'll keep him on board and let him relax.
I had the neat experience of paddling with a woodpecker for a couple hours while he collected himself and rested. Just before Lock 18, I had to get him out of the cockpit as he started pecking at the boat, and he flew away. It truly made my day. I was so happy to have been...
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like, he was sitting on a deck bag, and then all of a sudden he got this little burst of life, and he literally, like, jumped and was gonna go over the side of the boat. He wasn't flying. He was, like, going down, and I caught him. And he landed in my lap, and then he hopped down into the cockpit of the boat and went all the way to the very end. And I couldn't reach him anymore, so there was nothing I could do, but my bailing sponge was down there, and so he just stood on that, and I'm sure he loved it because it was so warm in the bottom of the boat. And he literally stayed down there for over an hour, and then all of a sudden he's in there pecking at the inside of the boat, and so I had to like scoot down and reach him with my toes, and I finally swooshed him up enough to me, and then once he saw the daylight, he flew out. But I was actually terrified that he started pecking at the inside of the boat. I thought for sure I was gonna have a hole in the boat. Thankfully he didn't. But and then this was kind of cool. These are actually refurbished gates that were going on to the lock, and they're just huge. Everything is so big, you know, like I say, but big, huge gates waiting to get put on. Yeah, the bird was a really cool part. And it's no lie, too. I actually got freaked out by all the flooding, you know, seeing houses like this in the water. I mean, obviously they're designed for that, but kind of freaked me out with how deep the water was everywhere.
Got some water, a couple ice cream.
Not really knowing what to expect or if I should even be out there.
Gentleman named Roger. He does missionary work, been to Haiti and stuff, and asked all kinds of questions about the trip and everything, so I was happy to sit there and take a break and chat with him and tell him everything I knew, which only takes a few minutes, but super nice guy.
Yeah, I went into this marina, and unfortunately there is no fast food joints near Burlington here by the marina, but they had ice cream and stuff in their little marina store, so of course they filled up on that.
The most crucial part of any stop, and I got that, so river gets bigger below me, so I'm dealing with that. And yeah, but there's the bridge in Burlington. We're heading on down that way.
It's like the longest train ever. I bet it was 2 miles. First time I've ever gone under a train.
What's going on, guys?
Sounds good, Gabriel. I'm gonna do another little stream after
Yeah.
this. If you want to check
About
back and
4
watch that
miles
later, you might
away,
want to
4 miles
participate
north
in
of
a little thing I got going on.
Fort Madison, I believe it's called,
care, man.
Iowa. And I probably could have made it there tonight, but the wind is coming straight at me, and I'm on a big lake again, kind of like a Lake Pepin style lake. So the big pools before the dams, and after last night's sleep where I had barely any, and the mosquito attacks or whatever the hell I had. If you missed that episode, I'll fill you in. But I just didn't feel like fighting the waves anymore and the wind and the boaters. There's a ton of boaters out here, of course. It's Saturday, so I found this nice little spot here. It's all sand. Under the trees.
You know, I was
Doesn't appear
pretty
to be
bad about
poison
keeping the life
ivy, which
vest
is a
on.
nice change. Hammocks are
When we
already
get to
up,
St. Louis,
boats up off the water.
or when I get to St. Louis,
And,
I completely
yeah, just kinda
change
nice
how I wear the
open
life
area.
jacket. But
Nice
yeah,
sand.
it was pretty
We
hot.
got a fire going, I'm gonna
Iowa
cook tonight and eat
was pretty
meat
rough on
because
me
I
with
am
the heat.
starving. Even though I just don't really have an appetite, I know that I'm hungry. So, but yeah, so that's kind of the deal.
And don't worry too,
Last
plenty of
night,
people would see me
I
without
had,
it and yell at me.
mosquitoes attacking me through my bug net on my hammock, and see if I can get a good shot of them there. But I didn't realize it right away, and I just kept sleeping and sleeping and sleeping, and finally it was enough to wake me up. And I looked down, and my legs are all bit up and everything, so they're actually biting me through the hammock. I have a bug net on there, but it wasn't enough. And so like midnight, I got up and sprayed down the hammock and the tarp and everything myself with bug spray, and God, it was just brutal. And now, of course, I itch like crazy and got all these bite marks, so just stupid. But other than that, it would have been a perfectly fine night. It was hot, but I mean, you know, that's old news at this point. So, but yeah.
I didn't sugarcoat it.
Here
I mean,
tonight,
if I had a bad day, you
like I
heard
said,
about
kind
it.
of a late day. I did 35 miles or so today, which
Not
is
every day on the
less than I
river
wanna do
is
again,
a
but,
dream come
I'll make
true.
up for it.
Some of them
We
are a
just
little
gotta get
rougher
past
than
this
others.
humidity, and I got to be able to get a good night's sleep because this heat without sleep is just not working for me. And then I'll get some food in me, so that right away should start helping me feel better. But for right now, I'm just pretty exhausted. So, but yeah, that's kind of the update. So maybe check in with you later. All right, ground beef mashed potatoes. Sounded good. It's not bad. It's filling at least.
Yeah, that dehydrated ground beef. I wondered if I was gonna get sick eating that as time went on, but I never did, so it was good. Oh, what days did we cover there? Alright, so day 30. 36 miles basically. Making that turn back through Davenport. Day 31. 331 has 2 maps. Here's the first one. That's where I saw that fan boat. We got 31 and a half miles, and then 32. So this is where I had to reset the map because I lost connection, and I had to reset my phone actually. So did an R9 on top of it. This is coming up on Pool 18. I think they call it Keokuk Lake. Cool area. It was windy that day. And then day 32. Boom. So 36 miles. Just up from Fort Madison. A couple of bridges there, but I just didn't feel like fighting the wind no more. So as soon as I found a nice sandy spot, I called it a night. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I did soak the hammock in bug spray pretty much nightly, and aside from probably poisoning myself because with the net, I swear like it never aired out, and so it was just awful to sleep in the hammock after I sprayed it down with bug spray. It was just really thick. But yeah, it didn't even. Sometimes it didn't even matter. Like sometimes the mosquitoes just don't even care about the bug spray. So, so for anybody who's still watching, I'm gonna do a really quick stream after this. I have an opportunity if you guys want to be part of it, and I'll explain in the next stream. I just don't want to mix it in too much with the river videos. So it'll probably take me 5 minutes or so to set that stream up. And if you don't catch it live, just play it back. But my company I work for asked me if I'd do a little bit of outreach to people who, especially like the paddlers or the outdoorsmen, and just get some opinions. So I'll explain there, and it'll just be I'll send you an email with some details if you want to participate. If not, I have every intention of being back next Friday. I don't think I have anything going on, so yeah, I guess until then we'll catch you on the next one. And like I said, give me like 5 minutes. I'm going to reset this stream, and if you want to be part of a little bit of research that I'm doing, I'll see you over there. So y'all have a good night and take care. We'll catch you on the next